Hello, welcome everyone. This is Para, and this is going to be a teaching on Power of 3. I'm going to go over how I view Power of 3, how I trade it, and I'm going to go over certain facts or teachings that other YouTubers don't go over. This is going to be a deep course. You may not get it the first time. It may be a little complicated, but just view this video a couple of times, and you should be good to go. Now to start, what is Power of 3? It is how a candle, and the power tree applies to every single candle from 1 minute to all the way to yearly candles. It doesn't matter. If there's a candle, there is a power tree. It refers to how a candle is created, the different phases, and how you can trade based on this idea of candles being created. Now let's get started with understanding what power tree is. In order to understand power tree, we need to first understand OHLC, open, high, low, close. What does that mean? It refers to certain parts in a candle's anatomy. For example, if we're looking at a green candle, it opens right here. This is the low, as it opened here once and created this low. This is the lowest point this candle has traded into. And then this is the high and the close right here. Why? Price opened right here, went lower, distributed higher, and closed here. And every part of this candle is created through power of tree's three phases, which is accumulation, manipulation, distribution, close. In other words, when a candle opens, it first accumulates. The price does pretty much nothing for some amount of time, and then market moves lower so it can clear liquidity and get buyers in before moving higher. This happens because price is algorithmic and it wants large players to get in at good prices, at cheap or premium prices. In other words, premium discount. So market makers or large people, whatever, they want to buy when price is discounted, when it's cheap, and they want to sell when price is in a premium or it's expensive. Now we'll get to figuring out how where like true opens are and how to figure out when price is in a premium or a discount. But first, we have to understand the three phases of power of three. This is essentially what the three phases of power of three look like. At first, when the candle opens, we have accumulation. Now, for reference, let's take the daily candle. Daily candle opens, it starts to accumulate, and then London, as we all know, starts to clear liquidity, creates this move right here called a Judas swing. Essentially, it takes one side of the accumulation so it can offer either premium or discount prices before running to the other side and creating a big move for New York. If you're watched ICT for a little bit of time, or even if you're new, you should understand this. This is usually the Asia session. It creates liquidity. London manipulates higher or lower depending on where price wants to go. He wants to have a clear drawn liquidity, and New York distributes to the other side to create uh, the distribution phase. Now, how do we figure out where premium or discount prices are? The best way is to mark the true open of a candle, which is the opening price of the candle. So whenever the candle opens, we have a opening price that tells us, okay, the price opened right here, but this candle opens exactly at this price. What can we use this for? Because when this candle opened, let's say the price was $100, right? And then price, remember, it has not finished creating this candle. Price runs up after accumulating for a while to $120. That is an expensive area because price is above the true open of a currently trading candle. For example, if we take the daily candle as an example, midnight open is where the candle opens, right? When we trade above it, price is in a premium. So the entire idea of power of three is to play with the true opens, accumulate below it if it wants to go lower, sweep and then go above the true open, distribute to the other side. This right here, this manipulation phase, is where you want to look for buys or sells. This Judas swing is where you want to take. Now, traders who trade retail concepts like support and resistance are going to see this as a breakout and start buying here. Well, it is in fact creating a Judas swing to move to the other side. Or in other words, because we're talking about power three, manipulate the traders thinking, okay, it's going to go higher, and send it lower. Or in bullish examples, right here, we can see price dips below the true open, clearing this accumulation and it runs to the other side. Now, there are certain times I personally use to look for these moves. At first, I want accumulation to occur after midnight open. I mean, obviously, we have the true open at midnight open. So right after it opens, we start accumulating, price starts to accumulate. Assuming that this is the opening price, this range is going to occur after midnight. Now, the London Judas swing, when it to happen, I usually look for it at 3 a.m. Now, this is not something I usually trade, but because I trade New York only, but this is the timing that I found the most success with while trading. And the distribution lower usually happens after 9:30, somewhere between the market here, 9:50 to 10:10, because that is the hourly macro for New York, where it is probable high or low of the day. Now we're going to go into some chart examples to simplify this, so don't worry about it. But just understand that these times are where you want to look for certain parts of the daily power of 3 to happen. Now I'm going to take you into the charts and show you some live examples. So right here, I'm going to talk about this move, this Monday range. We're trading inside of a range, as we can see, by marking Friday's highs and lows. So previous week's high, which is a high probable liquidity, as it's time-based, it's the previous week candle. So we want it to be swept. We did not get this sweep, but I'm going to go over that and how I still got a trade in this. Let's mark the daily candles open. As we can see, if you look down here, we're trading on Sunday at the moment. We're accumulating. But as soon as we go into midnight, you can see the new daily candle opens. This is the midnight open right here. Marking this and extending it out. We don't need it for Tuesday, but I'm going to still extend it out so you can see it right there. Another true open that you could use is 8:30. Why 8:30? Because it is the New York or NYSE open where news are released, and this can be used as a true open to find premium discount prices for New York. Right there. Now, prices trading higher into here. It is inside this rejection block, and I'm looking for this to be swept to go short. Why? Because remember, Asia accumulated all this here. London moved higher, created our Judas swing. So 3 a.m. If I go over here, you can see it continued higher and into what? This high. Now we did not get this high swept. Why? Because we created an SMT with US 30, as you can see here, and ES, which tells us that Nasdaq is weaker than the two other pairs it is correlated with. In other words, it is high probable for us to look for shorts. So now we know the entire day has been moving up. We know that Asia range has been accumulating, and we know that London also moved higher. We're expecting a Judas swing in New York. So remember, opening of the candle, I move higher, and then I move lower to create the close. Let's go into 1 minute to see how we could have found entries based on this. Now, in the 1 minute, this is where the 9:30 bell rang. I know I'm looking for shorts because I have a small SMT over here with ES. So we have a small SMT with ES right here. The candle at 9:29 did not sweep the candle at 9:16. While it did sweep it on US 100. So we have two bearish SMTs, one higher time frame, one lower time frame. We have a manipulating higher, and now we're waiting for the distribution lower. Remember, this is the pattern we're trading. Accumulation, manipulation higher, and then distribution lower. We're looking for price to go lower. Now it's not going to be as clean as the drawings I showed you. It's not going to be picture perfect, but it is going to follow the same principles every single day. Now, back to here. I'm going to go over it once again. Lower time frame SMT. or time frame SMT. At 9:30, which is the timing I talked about, we get a displacement lower. And we get a retracement into this order block and to this small IFVG here. What is that? What does it do right after? It respects it, moves lower. What does it do after it dips below the 8:30 open? It runs back into premium prices into this gap. Get more shorters in and move lower below where? Midnight open. So we moved from premium into discount. Back on the 15 minutes, what does this look like? They opened right here, price started to accumulate. Manipulation higher, distribution lower. Now this day closed like an inside candle because it is Monday and price is accumulating for the other days to form. But did the understanding of power of three give us a clean trade? Yes. Did it offer a good RR? Yes. Now I'm going to go over something else you need to pay attention to when trading power of three. The best way to trade power of three is to have a clear drawn liquidity. For example, we have an old high right here and an old low. These are our draws and liquidities. Let's assume a new candle opens here. Because I can't discount this last red candle opened up right here and closed down here. So open, high, low, close. This candle formed like this. So open, manipulation higher, distribution lower, close. Now, if we're going to use this candle as a drawn liquidity, I would want to see something like this. I want price to start accumulating for it to move lower here and then distribute higher. Now, why am I showing you this? Because this is something that people get wrong. You want to buy the manipulation, not the retracement. Remember how I told you that, or that I showed you right now when we're looking at this candle's anatomy. So this candle opened right here, manipulated higher, distributed lower, and it closed. This move right here that created this wick is called the close, or the retracement to create the wick. Here, we started accumulating, move lower below this low, displacement higher, retracement, and distribute. We're buying the manipulation before the distribution, but let's say we wanted to buy below this low. Price started to accumulate here, manipulation, distributed into this low, and then closed. We don't want to buy this because power of three started over here. Manipulate here and distributed lower. The distribution is already done. It has already finished distributing. If we buy this, we're buying the retracement. We're not buying the distribution. So we're less likely to see an expansion higher towards our drawn liquidity. Now I'm going to show some live examples on charts to strengthen your understanding of this. I want to take your attention to the price action over here. Monday, 22 of April. And this is our midnight open and this is our 8:30 open. This is the 8 a.m. candle, but it is close enough to the 8:30 candle so you can get the understanding. Price starts to accumulate here. Manipulation lower. It is already within this candle, after trading inside this candle, it is already in discount prices. It's in this daily opening gap, and it's inverse to 1 hour gap, and it is also below true open. So this is a good place to buy. But this is exactly what I meant by what I just taught you. Let's understand the anatomy of this candle right here. It opened right here, accumulated, manipulated higher, and then distributed lower. If you're buying down here, you're buying the retracement. What happens afterwards? After this happens, a new candle opens, manipulates lower, and then it distributes higher and closes. Same, and then the next candles continue higher. If you're looking at it like this, you can understand my teaching in a better manner. You don't want to buy here. You don't want to buy this retracement. You want to buy the manipulation. This candle is the 10 a.m. candle. Sure, it is correct to buy down here, but the next candle, the 11 a.m. candle, opened, manipulated lower below this low. This candle, this is something you need to understand. Every candle is a range. Every candle has liquidity because every candle is a swing high and a swing low on a lower time frame. There's people buying this. There's people buying instead of here. This candle trades lower, manipulates below this low, right there. What does it do afterwards? This distributes higher, it traces a little bit to create the wick, and then the next few candles continue higher. This is exactly what I'm trying to teach you here. Now I'm going to move over to some other examples. I'm going to take your attention to this candle right here. Remember, this isn't perfect, so you're not going to see it happen all the time. For one, it could be because of SMT. Remember, SMT is an important concept. If you don't have an understanding on SMT, don't go ahead and learn about that because it'll strongly increase your win rate. And a lot of the times you see this concept fail, like you're not seeing a new candle form here and take this lower. That's probably because of SMT most of the time. But I'm going to take your attention to this candle. I'm going to mark the opening price, which is right here. And I'm going to mark this as that open. The daily candle opens right here and then trades lower instantly. 2 a.m. between 2 to 3, it starts to move higher. So this accumulation right here, daily candle opens. Now we have an idea of premium discount. Price dips into discount. This candle opens at 2 a.m. What does it do? It opens, dips lower below the slow, manipulates, distributes higher and closes. Creates this order block. Price taps into this order block and then moves higher, creating this manipulation. And then price wants to manipulate one more time. Look, in order to understand this perfectly, you need an idea of the weekly candle as well. Because sometimes you may see this and be like, wait, it manipulated lower then distributes higher and then it went lower and higher again. That's exactly what you don't understand. If you mark the weekly open, because remember, this happens on every single candle, which includes the weekly candle. The weekly open is right here. Price wants to distribute higher, so price dips below the weekly open, manipulates below it, and then it moves higher. So where is price when it's down here? It is below the 8:30 open. It is below the midnight open. It is below the weekly open. This candle opens right here, manipulates higher, distributes, closes. This candle is an inside candle. Then this next candle distributes higher, starts distributing higher. Now this is the dissection of power of 3. We have two draws and liquidities that are clear to us. At a daily candle high there, or just a high there, and we have a low there. And when price accumulates, create a Judas swing in London, go above midnight open, and then trade towards one of these draws and liquidities. Now, here is where the distribution happens when I say New York. At 9:30 to 10:10, between this kill zone, I'm looking for trades that are against the trend of the entire day. So as you can see here, the day trended lower, right? I mean, you opened here and went here by the time you're open, so that's a bearish trend. And here I'm looking for reversals. I'm using SMT and time as my confluence. I'm looking for different entry models to get into here. Afterwards, I look to take profit at midday open, because that's where price has entered or went from discount to premium. And then you can, if you wanted to, you could leave Lorna's to the other drawn liquidity. But for me personally, midnight open is enough. Usually at midnight open, if price wants to continue towards our drawn liquidity, because of retracement lower, to dip into discount prices once again before distributing higher towards the drawn liquidity that we had. Now, I'm going to take you back to the charts one more time, and we're going to go over some other examples. A very clear example right here. Let's mark the true opens. It's the Wednesday candle, and we're on the 15-minute time frame. I'm going to mark the midnight open right over here. This is our midnight open. I'm going to mark the 8:30 open. Price is below a bunch of lows. It is in discount. So price is in a discounted level. My drawn liquidity for this day was up here, because we have these equal highs and we have this big gap. I wanted to see this taken. At around 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., we create this move lower. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution, Judas swing. Remember, this right here is a Judas swing, and then we create another Judas swing. This is how the manipulation and this distribution are created. So, at here, between 9:30 to 9:50, or sorry, 10:10, I'm looking for trades. Let's go into 1 minute and see what this looks like. Remember, paragraph 3 is fractal. The same way we saw it happen on the daily time frame, it can occur on the lower time frame. So we have our 8:30 open here. Price is accumulating below discount. 9:30, we got a sweep lower and a displacement higher. What did we leave behind? We leave behind this fair value gap right there. Price respects this gap, and what does it do afterwards? Starts moving higher, giving us our trade. Now, as we can see right here, what did I talk about? I told you that I take profits at midnight open, and if it wants to continue towards our drawn liquidity, it is once more going to trade below the open to again go into discount prices and push higher. Exactly what we get here. I'll move higher, dips below midnight open. I'm already out the trade here. Dips below the midnight open, continues higher towards the drawn liquidity, and then lower. Now, I'm going to show you one more example before the video ends. To come over here to Friday's price action. Let's mark our midnight open, just right here. So here's our midnight open. So marking this out. And I'm going to mark the 8:30 open. Now, since this day is a Friday, and we've been trading higher the entire week, I'm looking for reversals. I'm looking for a move lower to create the wick of the weekly candle, which is exactly what we get. This is a strategy called TGIF by ICT, which again it is built around the retracement of the weekly candle. Because remember the teaching at the start of the video, what I told you about. Open, low, high, close. Opens, manipulates, distributes higher, and then retraces to close. This retracement occurs mostly on Friday, and this is exactly what we had here. This close is this entire move. Let's talk about it. We start accumulating over here, and we start moving higher. This manipulation higher. Traders are going to think we're going to trend higher. But again, we start to accumulate over here once again. We create a move lower, a fake move lower. 9:30 opens, we distribute higher. I'm looking for a short, so I'm not longing here. I'm not longing this gap, I'm not longing anything. Plus, price is between 8:30 open and the midnight open. So we're kind of balanced, right? It is not so bearish and not so bullish. We're balanced. I want it to be above both or below both for me to find a trade. In this case, we dip above 8:30 and we're above midnight open as well. Let's go in 1 minute to find entries. Remember, we're taking this distribution lower. This is the manipulation, and we're looking for entries inside this manipulation to distribute lower. Now we're going to have 1 minute to see if we can find entries. This is the 1 minute time frame of that entire move. Let's mark out the timing. Remember remember how I talked about 9:50 to 10:10? I'm waiting for this timing to look for shorts because this is the hourly macro of 10 a.m. Create a high here, and we displace lower a little bit. We create this gap, and we have this IFVG. Price respects this gap. This is where I take my short. Now let's check something else here. We can see the consequent encroachment of this gap right here. We close below it, trade above the consequent encroachment into this gap. Then we close below it. The next candle right here goes above it, but fails to close above it. That tells me price wants to reverse now. That's where I took my short. What does price do? Displacement lower, retracement back into what? What does it retrace into? The 8:30 open. It trades above the 8:30 open into this gap. Into what? Premium prices once again. So if you miss this entry, this is your second one. And then it displaces lower again. into what? Into midnight open. So accumulation. Price has been accumulating this whole time. And it manipulates higher and then distributes higher. It reverses the entire move. And you had many entries along this way. You got this gap here, this gap here with this inverse gap. Once again, this whole gap was your entry. You got this breaker block on this wick into midnight open. I hope this video helped you. If it did help you and you want to get in touch with me or learn more from me, you could always join my Discord server. I do live trading every single day when there are trades, of course, and I have my own teaching inside of it. So do check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.